how's it going? Welcome to Live from the Lesson Studio tonight. We're going to take a look at the song I'd Love to Change the World by a band called 10 Years After, I believe. This is from 1971. It's a song about the Vietnam War, I do believe. It's a protest song, I think. It's a really great tune if you're just learning how to play guitar solos with, I hope I got that right, 10 years after, yeah. If you're learning to play guitar solos with the pentatonic scale, this is a great song to practice your pentatonic scale with. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's take a look at how the song works first, how the chords work, how they work in the key, how to play it. It's a bit tricky. This has some articulation going on, some picking through the notes. So this one's a little harder maybe than you might want it to be. So the first chord is an E minor chord, and then it goes to a G chord, to an A minor chord, to C, B7. So that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now throughout the song we're going to be articulating those chords. We have to arpeggiate, so it's a little tricky. And by the way, if you don't know E minor, it looks like this. It's 2A2, 3D2. What I call the rock G is first finger on low E3. Oh, sorry, second finger. First finger on A2, open D, open G. Third finger B3 and fourth finger on high E3. A minor is open A. Second finger D2, third finger G2, first finger B1, open high E. And then the C chord is 3A3, 2D2, open G, 1B1, open high E. And then B7 is 2A2, 1D1, 3G2, open B, and fourth finger on high E2. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to articulate this. We're going to arpeggiate the chord with eighth notes, and it's a little tricky. You can do down picking first and then eventually try to alternate picking. Here, I'll do this in really slow motion. We can take a look at how it works. I know you're thinking like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do that? Well, we're going to work on it slowly but surely, maybe do 1 or 2 chords at a time. So the strings are E string, D string, G string, B string. So it's, and then we're going to do a chromatic walk up on the low E string. Open low E, first finger, first fret of low E, second finger, second fret of low E, and then the second finger on the third fret because we're setting ourselves up for G. It looks like this. And then the downbeat is actually on the D string. Right up the strings. And it's open G, and then it's going to be open B string actually. Let go of the B string, open G, and then third fret of low E. That looks like this. Okay, and then we have A minor, right up the strings, A, D, G, B, and then another walk up. This time it's a walk up chromatically. We're going to use one finger at a time because we're setting up for the C chord. So it goes do 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 do. The downbeat's on the D string, I believe, and then we're going to go. It's a lot of picking. So it's. The song goes by at a pretty fast clip. It's 117 beats per minute. So if you can't play this up to speed, you got to start really slowly and just articulate it slowly. Down pick it first if you can't alternate pick it yet. And then it's D, G, B, E, open G string, open B string, you let go of the B string, the G string, and then low E. That rounds out that measure. A minor, walk up again, and then this is D, G, B, G, A string, D string, G string, B string. Okay, so once you get that under your belt, the verse part is like I call it a bada chicken rhythm. So sometimes you have a dot in music. A dot can be two things. It can be above the note, which means staccato, like a boop, quick note. Or to the right of the note means it's longer, it's held longer. So we're kind of like dotting these first strums. Gung, ka-chicka, gung, ka-chicka, ka-ka-chicka. So I call it bada chicken, bada chicken. Bada chicken, bada chicken, frickin' chicken. Frickin' chicken. Frickin' chicken. Now you'll notice my fingers folding over here. That's because I'm kind of collapsing on the strings in between. That's a kind of a technique in and of itself to fold over the strings. Basically, it's now if you have trouble strumming well, take a look at a video on the channel right here called 8 Ways to Strum Your Guitar Better. You'll learn how to get more articulate with your strumming, so it sounds more musical when you're doing this. Again, it's at 117 beats a minute, so it's pretty fast. So the song arrangement is kind of a back and forth thing. It's like arpeggio part twice, and then he sings over the verse, which is the chord part, and then the arpeggio thing, then the verse, then the arpeggio thing, then the verse. It's literally back and forth. Then there's a chorus 3 times. I'd love to change the world, but I don't know what to do. And he's articulating that part. And then there's a verse again. Population, this is the verse. And then there's another verse, and then another arpeggio part, which is like this thing, kind of as an instrumental. Chorus 3 more times. And then there's a solo over the verse 8 times, and that's when he starts wailing. And then there's like a chorus for the rest of the way out. Just the chorus is this part. So basically in the song, the chorus is this, that part, and then the verse is this part. So you have kind of a chorus and a verse. It's backwards from what you would think would be. The chorus is the arpeggio pretty part, and the verse is the more bombastic strummy part. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of like get in here and start doing a little bit of soloing. Now Alvin Lee played a 335, like I don't know if you ever saw the videos from the other studio, like Studio A for my lesson studio, but I always have that 335 behind me. That's one of my main guitars I play, Gibson 335. So he played a Marshall 100-watt amp for his sound. So I've got a Marshall Super Lead dialed in, which is kind of actually more like the Guns N' Roses sort of sound, actually, of amps, of Marshalls to play with this. And I kind of think it's a good one for this. So let's see if we can get that set up here. It sounds like this. And what I have going on here is I have lots of delay, you know, like, and I've got some reverb, and I've got all these kind of effects happening to make everything like nice and kind of a little bit juicy. And I'm playing out of a like a 100-watt cabinet, a simulation. So this is the Fractal Audio FM9. I always kind of talk about this. The unit that I'm using on the floor, and I'm playing out of that looper with an acoustic simulator sound that I got off the Axe Exchange. It's not actually an acoustic guitar. It's done with filters and with EQs, I believe, but it sounds pretty convincing for an acoustic guitar. So a lot of times when I'm playing gigs, I'll just play that sound out of this guitar. If you change your pickups, so you have the 2 outside pickups together, which is what I'm doing right here with the switches, that's going to give you the most acoustic-y sounding thing you can get with an electric guitar. So I'm just accenting the acoustic nature of it by doing that with the pickups. So the first thing we want to do is practice our pentatonic scale, which is this guy. So there's a couple of videos, if you don't know that. There's one right here on the channel to learn the 5 positions of the pentatonic scale. You should learn those really, really well to play across the whole guitar. And then there's another video on the channel right here, the first video on learning how to solo with the pentatonic scale, to learn how to improvise, to do this call and response thing we're going to be doing over top of this. I just did a video 2 days ago, I believe, on the live stream here, where I played what I call the modal pentatonic scale, where I added some notes back into the pentatonic scale. That's another one you might want to check out too. But Alvin Lee was great, and the most important thing about Alvin Lee was getting to the point where you can play 16th notes to solo. We'll get there in a minute. There's a certain speed aspect to make it sound like what he was doing. When you listen to him play, he's kind of wailing for the day. This song came out in 1971, but he was definitely wailing for back in the day. So we got our chords going on. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my feet wet here, just noodle around a little bit, and this scale. Call and response. Answer. Question. Now the 16th note thing I was talking about sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So if you play this with like a quarter note thing, it's not going to sound very good. If I go like, I'll try 8th notes next. It's still kind of wonky, right? Now triplets are the next speed. Sounds okay. But then the next speed above that is your 16th note. So kind of establish that speed first. And then you can start playing your lines at that speed. That's what he was doing for the entire song. You listen to him play, that's kind of where he was at. That's the cruising altitude. That speed. Can't do that yet, a good way to get established with the 16th notes is to play one note. Then go back and forth between two notes like this. Then 3 notes. And maybe 4 notes. 6 notes. next gear is going to be sextuplets, which is 6 notes instead of a 16th note, which is 4 notes. That's a cool sound. Now you can go 30-second notes if you wanted to. Probably doesn't sound good for this song. Now, we want to work on call and response riffs. That's the key to this entire thing, right? So maybe start out with something simple like this. You sound first like this. Answer. Question. Answer. Question. So it's call and response, question, answer. Man, that is so much fun to play on. You could do that all day long. It's a phenomenal vehicle, this song is, to practice your guitar soloing for the E minor pentatonic scale. And if you want to add those other notes back in, I was talking about adding the 2 notes back in for the melodic sound, the modal sounding pentatonic. Take a look at, I think, the last live stream before this one to do that. So again, let's go over the chords one more time. Just so we can make sure we know what they are, and then we're going to kind of call it a day here. But let's take a look one more time at the chords so we can see everything that we have going on here with that. So it's E minor first. We have E minor chord here to a G chord, A minor, C, and B7. It's the 1 chord, the 3 chord of the key of E minor, natural minor, 4 chord, and this is a 6 chord and a 5 chord, 5, 7. At that moment is harmonic minor. For 1 second it kind of goes from natural minor to harmonic minor. And then you have to articulate that like this. Walk up. And then it's All right, so that's a look at how to play I Love to Change the World by 10 Years After. Great song, 1971. Take a look at that if you haven't heard it before and get that in your repertoire to jam on. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the like button and leave some comments, of course. Watch videos. There's plenty of videos on the channel over there you can watch. And I do these live streams a couple nights a week from the studio, so sometime around 9:30 or 10 o'clock between Monday and Thursday. When I'm finished teaching for the day, I'll hop on here and do a live stream video, so please keep an eye out for that as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, let me know, and any requests of things you'd like me to do on the live streams, leave that in the comment section as well. All right, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you